Harry Etten. Let's talk about Trump voters and how they feel. Do they regret their vote?
The bottom line is this. If there's some idea out there that Trump voters are going around, man, I wish I had voted for Kamala Harris instead of Donald Trump, the numbers say that is a fanciful universe. It really, for the most part, does not exist.
What about
CNN? They're very confused, mentally confused, sexually confused. They're confused about race. They're confused about money, about gender. The left is not liberal. I don't know about you. It makes me want to go like this, though. My head's going like this. You know, yesterday was tax day, wasn't it? Tax day. And Harvard is arguing that taxpayers need to give them $9 billion. They have $53 billion in the bank. Why would we give them $9 billion? Why would we give them $2.2 billion? Why would we give them $5? You're the richest people in the world. And every city bus driver, every gas station employee, petroleum transfer engineer. My brother is in town from Chicago. He's leaving today, unfortunately, but we've been hanging out the last few days and reminded when he was in high school, he worked at a gas station pumping gas. And when he'd be talking to young women, he'd say, "What do you do?" And he would tell them, "I'm a petroleum transfer engineer." I'm a petroleum transfer engineer, he would say. That means he pumps gas down at the gas station. Petroleum. It sounds much better, you know. Sounds much better than that. These people. But yesterday is tax day, and today Harvard is yelling that we should give them $2.2 billion so they can raise anti-Semites because of the rising tide of fascism, keeping in mind that Adolf Hitler's party was the Socialist Workers' Party of Germany. Just by the way, speaking of Democrats, a lot of them, I can't say how many, but a lot of them are necrophiliacs, and that's kind of a weird development, but here it is. And I shared with you the story the other day. Now, a necrophiliac is a Democrat that would have sexual relations, as Bill Clinton might say, with a person who is deceased. That's not the same as necrobestiality, which would be, a dead dog or something. There's a funny story today, too, about how your dog is bad for the environment. Your dog is really bad for the environment. Pet dogs have extensive and multifarious impact on environment. New research finds. And environmental groups are out saying that your dog is bad for the environment, so you shouldn't have a dog. Because when, a person is no fun, a person is really no fun. But that's not important. I want to get to the mailbag here, too. But first, I want to update you on the necrophiliac story that I told you about the other day. Because the New York City subway system is not what it used to be, It's not a musical anymore. It's something else altogether with the crime and the illegal alien crazy, the mentally ill people, and if you're Daniel Penny and you try to save the women on a train car from the crazy guy that's threatening to murder you, then the Democrats try to put Daniel Penny in prison, the former U.S. Marine who's trying to do a good deed. The Democrats have turned the New York City subway system into this story, because I told you, I shared with you the story out of New York the other day where a man died on a New York City subway train. He died on the subway train. And unfortunately for him, there was a Democrat next to him, another man. And the Democrat man went over and picked through the pockets of the man that had died on the subway train and robbed him of everything that he could find to rob from him. But that's just where it started, because he then depantsed himself, forcibly sodomized the deceased man, also assaulted him orally, sexually assaulted him orally and anally. And pardon me for that, but that's what happened. Sexually assaulted the man repeatedly on the subway train. I guess other people just looked at their phones or something, but after stealing everything from him. And then he dumped the man and got on with his day, the dead body, the man. And then another Democrat was on the train car, and he went over and tried to rob him again, picking through another guy a second man, not the same man, and they weren't together because this is what New York has done. All of their mentally ill people are just thrown out onto the sidewalk to fend for themselves, so it makes Calcutta look like Martha's Vineyard at this point. Just amazing stuff. And that happened on a New York City subway train just days ago. I shared it with you here. The Washington Post never reported it because they know it's Democrats. The first one is a Democrat for sure. The second one is also definitely a Democrat. But now there's an update because you got to update these stories. And the New York Post has the story. The New York Times does not. Victim, 37, whose corpse was sexually abused on New York City's subway, was hardworking father and family man. Heartbroken wife says. But wait a minute, because the Democrats tell me that the illegal alien gang member from El Salvador who's in prison down there is a family man and a hardworking gang member. And they love hardworking gang members. So the story in the New York Post with an update today. The strap hanger, that's a term used for people riding the subway. The strap hanger, whose body was sexually violated after he died on an R train in New York. They always want to let you know which train it was. It's like, oh, good, that's not my neighborhood, you know. So on an R train last week was a hardworking dad whose presence is dearly missed by loved ones. His estranged wife said Tuesday, stressing that he wasn't, quote, just a random person, end quote. Jorge Gonzalez was remembered as a committed family man who had so many dreams before the 37-year-old mysteriously died and his corpse was sexually abused by another man on a Manhattan subway train last week. An Obama voter was abusing it. This guy, the guy that the criminal here, he voted for Kamala Harris. He thought that Tim Walz would be a great vice president. He wasn't just a random person. He was a father. He was a family man. He cared about his family in Mexico, said his 38-year-old wife, Teresa, who had been separated from Gonzalez for about 6 years. That's probably because of New York, too. And here's a picture of the guy, and he looks like a normal guy. He's got flowers. And she said she hopes he can be remembered for who he was and someone who mattered deeply to those who loved him rather than the ghastly crime committed on his remains. Yeah, that's, the Democrat Party is doing to New York what they would do to the world, to the country and the world. I want him to be remembered as the lively person he was, that he had so many dreams, so many goals that he wanted to achieve, and that I want to remember. See, that he was a person and he was somebody who had people that love him. Sure, who have people that miss him, have people that would have wanted something better for him. I can't imagine wanting something worse for him, but maybe some Democrats could. Gonzalez, who married Teresa in 2012, had worked various jobs despite leading a turbulent life marred by alcohol abuse, she told the New York Post. He also suffered from cirrhosis. Cirrhosis, that is a liver affliction from drinking too much. It's like the Bugs Bunny names when they used to give, like, for the Bugs Bunny and the Knights of the Round Table, right? And they had, you got Sir Lancelot and you have the Bugs Bunny things. And when I was at CNN, the camera crews gave big Bugs Bunny Knights of the Round Table names to the assignment editors when I was an assignment editor. And there was one of my colleagues had a serious drinking problem. He eventually quit drinking, but one of my colleagues there had a serious drinking problem. So the cameraman named him Cirrhosis because that was his Bugs Bunny Knights of the Round Table name. Cirrhosis of liver. That's what they called him, right? Cirrhosis of liver, because that was his nickname. So he had been suffering with cirrhosis of the liver, and he had been suffering, said a Brooklyn analyst who shares a 13-year-old son with the victim and did not want her name published. I got to tell you, the generosity of women will never cease to amaze me. And now they have pictures of because the first guy that came along and committed these horrible deeds was wearing a yellow hoodie, had a little goatee beard and a black hoodie over the yellow hoodie because he's a Democrat, and he committed these horrible, horrible crimes. And then his dead and raped body was left on the floor of the New York City subway car, and another gang came along to rob him. And this guy was also wearing a yellow hoodie. Different guy. The first guy looks Latino. This guy's a black guy with a yellow hoodie, both a very popular yellow hoodie day on the subway. Pretty amazing stuff. Just amazing. And police say the twisted fiend who remains on the loose had sex with Gonzalez's dead body around 11:45 p.m. April 8th before exiting the Whitehall Street station in Lower Manhattan shortly after midnight. Got a time lag there, don't we? Security footage captured the sickening moment of the suspect engaging in sexual acts with the dead body of the victim. I want to see him caught, Teresa said of the perp. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. And there are clear pictures of the guy. If you know the guy, you know that it's him. The pictures are pretty clear. But, you know, you're a Democrat Party. Aren't they amazing? Yes, they are. Now I'm looking, and I don't have time to get to the mailbag right now. I'm going to have to pause before getting to the mailbag. But there you have it. That's an update. The wife, the ex-wife, has come forward. He was a nice guy. He drank a little, had a little cirrhosis of the liver. You know. Got to tell you. All right, I'm going to get to the mailbag for sure, and all kinds of good stuff. Are you a yo-yo dieter? You know, you diet, you lose weight, then you gain it all back again, maybe plus a few pounds. Breaking free of your yo-yo diet pattern, that's a main reason, a main goal that doctors created Lean. Lean from Brickhouse Nutrition is a supplement. It's not an injection, and you don't need a prescription from a doctor. Lean targets weight loss with 3 powerful and intelligent methods. It helps to maintain healthy blood sugar levels, helps to control appetite and cravings, and it helps to burn fat by converting fat into energy. That's a good idea. Listen, if you're tired of losing weight and gaining it all back again, Lean was created for you. And let me get you started with a 20% off offer for you when you enter the code PLANT20 at takelean.com. That's takelean.com, and the code is PLANT20. Good stuff. The statement product have not been evaluated by the FDA. The product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease, and is not a substitute or alternative for care from a healthcare provider. Yes, sir. Yeah, the things that go on in New York. You know, it used to be New York, New York. It's a heck of a town. You know, now the crime rate is up and the subway is down. This is what Democrats have done because they throw all the crazy people on the street. And you die on the subway in New York. This is what happens to you now. Not exactly a Donald O'Connor movie.
Oh, what a nice guy.
Chris here with a list of things that none of us should trust. The Washington Post, the New York Times, anything on CNN. Here's a list of things that I do trust. The Washington Times. Support real journalism for just $1 a week at washingtontimes.com/Chris.
In the name of my most royal majesty, I knight thee. Arise, sirloin of beef.
Ah, yes. Sirloin of beef and cirrhosis of liver. Those guys were funny. Some women, too. But it was mostly guys that were cameramen. And big, heavy cameras and all that. So we have that. All right, I have the mailbag questions right in my hand right here. Going to get to those in a couple of minutes. But right now, let's go to the telephones and talk to the smart people. I keep asking the crazy people to call in, the Democrats. But they're afraid. They're afraid of everything. They're afraid of everything. President Trump taking the state of Maine, the crazy Democrat governor there, you remember her in the Oval Office, said, President Trump said, I don't want men competing against women in college sports. She says, I'll see you in court. Well, today, the woman who is the Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi, called her out on that, and they're going to see her in court. President Trump defending women and girls, the Democrats trying to enslave, brutalize, and steal their trophies. Let's go to the telephones. Let's go to Patty. Patty's a woman. Let's go to Patty calling from Montclair, Virginia. Patty, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, yes, I am a woman.
Hi, Patty.
And I grew up in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, which is only 20 miles south of Scranton.
Uh-huh.
And hate to admit, but about the same era as Joe, a little bit younger, but that's neither here nor there. I assure you, I absolutely assure you, they did not have school buses in any of the public schools or any of the Catholic schools of which I'm aware. No school buses. Very much neighborhood. We all walked to schools. He's right. We referred to black people as colored people, and not with disrespect. As a kid, I didn't know any better. He's right about that's the way it was. But he is lying his butt off about school buses. They did not exist, and they did not put colored children on different buses and bus them to different schools. I went to school with black children in my school, and we were all just fine about it.
And Joe Biden fought against black students being bused to the schools where his kids were going, where Hunter Biden was going to school, and he was against racially integrating the schools in Delaware when he was a senator, an adult, and a father of children that were going to school. But it doesn't come as a complete surprise, Patty, that he lied again when he was speaking in Chicago, and that he lied about race because he's done that again and again.
Shocking. Shocking.
Right, exactly. Shocking. And, it's at least appalling, but it's rarely shocking, isn't it? It's these people. And the buses, Joe Biden is just kind of a psychopath, isn't he, Penny?
Yeah, he's not that. They're very Democrat up in that neck of the woods, but he is not well liked in Scranton because he lies about Scranton all the time.
Yeah, he does.
They don't like him.
He lies about where he grew up. He lies about everything. He lies about his family. He lies about his career. He lies constantly. If we had a news media, they'd fact check him frequently. If only we had a news media in America. What should we do about that?
And I remember seeing the kids going by at the time called colored kids on a bus going by.
Bum, 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 bum. I love taking the Democrat governor of Maine to court because she, a woman, is denying women's rights on behalf of the Democratic Party, the party of Bill Clinton, and his record, I think. And I've got that for you coming up as well. I have Michael Pierce, he was just saying to me, we have too much stuff today. Not unusual, but remarkable stuff. Womp, womp, womp. And I love the Harvard thing. Hey, $9 billion for Harvard. Why? It's really past time we had these discussions in public, out loud, regarding the use of our tax dollars. And it's time that we had a news media, this is my job, that points out when politicians are lying, like Joe Biden, lying, liar, lying all the time. But with that said, now would be a good time to get to the mailbag. And I have the mailbag in my hand right now. Michael Piercy printed it up. I didn't print it up, but Michael Piercy printed it up. And the first question in the mailbag today from The Plumber's Wife. The Plumber's Wife. That's a good name. Summer vacation is getting close again. Is there any hope of a cruise to Israel or Egypt? Huh. And do you have a favorite place you've cruised to? Well, Madam Plumber's Wife, I can tell you that this year the sea cruise is Iceland. Iceland. My best girl has let's say, a big hand in choosing our destinations. We've been to Iceland before. We liked it. We liked it very much. Reykjavik and around the country and stuff. But this year we're going Reykjavik to Reykjavik, and we're going around the island nation aboard a luxury ship, and that's wonderful. Now, any hope of cruise to Israel or Egypt? Israel or Egypt? Right now, what are they suggesting? We're already starting to look at next year. We haven't decided anything. Looking at next year. We have talked about starting in Istanbul next year, and we've been there before, liked Istanbul very much. I'd be happy to go back to Istanbul as well. But we're looking at that. Let me bring that plumber's wife to my best girl, Egypt, Israel. We loved Israel. My best girl has not been to Egypt. I have. It would be great to go back. Love to. And is there a favorite place you've cruised to? And Michael and I talked about this a little bit this morning when we were going through the mailbag questions, and that's kind of a tough one. That is a tough one. And I said one of the things I mentioned was Istanbul as a starting point for one of our sea cruises, and I think we may have gone to Athens from there. But it'd be cool to go to Israel, to Tel Aviv on that sea cruise. I'd like to. Favorite place you cruise to? I got to tell you, we've done the Mediterranean many times. We have done with our radio station, Chris Plant Sea Cruises, many times, and so great. It's always great. It's wonderful. We've done the Baltic states, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, up to Russia and St. Petersburg, and those are cool. But I would also say, and Alaska is wonderful. Alaska is great. We've done 3 times. Been to Alaska, great. But last year, my best girl and I, not on a radio station sea cruise, we went to Antarctica, out of Ushuaia in Tierra del Fuego, right, naturally, in southern Argentina, and southernmost city in the world, Ushuaia, which was a lot of fun, small city, fun history, great stuff. And then board a ship to cross the Drake Passage, 2 days of going like this. And it was members of the crew on the ship we were on. That was a seaborne ship. And 2 days to cross the Drake Passage to get the Antarctic Peninsula. And that was a real highlight because the seas were so rough that crew members who had been doing it for years swore that it was the roughest passage they had ever had crossing the Drake Passage. It turned out sushi and martinis helped very much. They're very good. So I don't know. I mean, I got to say, so many cool places. I love going around the world and going to fun places. And Antarctica was my 7th continent. And I from the time I was a little kid, I wanted 7 continents. So that was kind of a big one for me. But I love going almost everywhere. I got to tell you. That's a tough call. The plumber's wife. I'd have to have a long discussion with you about that because there are so many great places. Great stuff. But a fun question. Fleetus with question number 2 in today's mailbag. Chris, if you had a Tesla, what bumper sticker or bumper stickers would you put on your Tesla? Would you put on it? And that was a fun one, too, and Michael and I were talking about that. And I was telling you about the bumper stickers, maybe why I was asking, because Democrats are now putting bumper stickers on their cars, on their Teslas, that say things like, I hate Elon Musk, and I bought this car before Elon Musk went crazy. He's not gone crazy. You have, but never mind that. And I told you about the one that they're selling now, a bumper sticker and magnet that says, even my dog hates Elon Musk. They hate, and even their pets hate. Their house pets hate people that they hate. At least that's what they think. Because the Democrat Party is a violent criminal hate cult. Shooting, assassinating, firebombing, looting, the usual stuff. But if you had a Tesla, what bumper sticker would you use? I think, and Michael said this morning, a bumper sticker would be, my other car is 2 Teslas. My other car is 2 Teslas. Just to say, wank, wank to you, right? And we agreed a good one today, a bumper sticker for your Tesla. I'm a liberal too. Don't firebomb my car, right? I'm a liberal too. Don't firebomb my Tesla. That'd be kind of fun. Or because they all hate Elon Musk, you'd put love Elon Musk and my dog does too. I love Elon Musk and my dog does too, because that flies in the face of everything the Democrats are saying. But it is crazy that you got the Democrats with their insane psychological mental illness warfare on Elon Musk. And they're the ones that loved the Teslas and loved Elon Musk so much. I could have cared less. Yeah, it's an electric car. It's expensive. I don't care. But they did. And now they just turn on you like they're the Manson gang, the Manson family. They're completely insane. Now they're firebombing everything. And they made firebombing so popular that one of their Jew-hating anti-Semites firebombed the governor's mansion for the Jewish governor in Pennsylvania because he hates the Jews. And he was angry with him. The latest news, and the Israeli media is reporting it, but the American media is not, because they're filthy, rotten, corrupt. Keep them away from the children, too. Yeah, but my other car is also a Tesla. My other car is 2 Teslas. I'm a liberal, too. Don't firebomb my Tesla. I love Elon Musk, and my dog does, too. Is that they're all that? It's the, maybe just a bumper sticker on your Tesla that says, "You're mentally ill." Something just like, because if you're obsessing over the bumper sticker on my Tesla, might have something to do with it. But that's a fun one. David Mark with his mailbag question. I assume he's a male because his name is David and Mark. See, David Mark. Chris, should I continue to wear my Remember Normal shirt during the Trump administration? Fun question. I don't want Democrats to get confused. These things keep me up at night, he says. These things keep me up at night. He's being tongue-in-cheek, I can tell. I don't want Democrats to be confused. David Mark, you can't prevent Democrats from being confused. You can't help their confusion. It is a deep and abiding confusion, and it goes to everything, every area of life and science and history and culture. It is a mental illness. The Democrat Party is mentally ill. And speaking of which, James Carville came out, and he's saying the Democrat Party needs to break up. The progressives versus the Democrat Party. Then they can have their own civil war, and we can just watch it from the balcony and enjoy margaritas. But maybe I'll get to that if I have time. I hope I can. But David asked, should I continue to wear my Remember Normal T-shirt? I think you should, because at the Chris Plant store on Al Gore's Amazing Internet, we sell T-shirts that simply and eloquently say, Remember Normal. And we have coffee mugs to the same effect, and other fun and enjoyable things as well. But, David, I think you should, because it will confuse them. And I know he's thinking, I don't want Democrats to get confused and think like maybe normal was when Joe Biden was president. But, David, I would just contribute to further confusion on their part by putting Remember Normal in front of them. And if they ask, then you can explain to them that normal, because of the Democrat Party, has become abnormal.
We will not be returning to normal.
That's Joe Scarborough. We will not be returning to normal because they believe that they're in charge enough where normal will never return. And normal is like boys or girls, and boys will be boys and girls will be girls. Not Lola, but they're all Lola. They're just insane. And yeah, I would. I'm going to continue to wear my Remember Normal T-shirt, and I would, depending on the circumstance, I might just ignore them and smile and let them slip back into the morass that is their intellectual abyss. But there it is. That's kind of fun. Yeah. And one of the notes I wrote to that one today was, don't explain. Just smile and let them think about it when they're going to sleep at night. Let it keep them up at night. What does that mean? Remember normal. Leave it to Beaver, the Partridge Family, normal, the normal. It's pretty easy. RB asks, thank you, David Mark. RB asks, how would your show change if you had the funding and staff of an NPR show? How would your show change if you had the funding and staff of an NPR? we'd have our an orchestra. We'd have an orchestra in the studio because we have three people here. Jeff Wolf is on phones today. We have different people pretty much every day because the company, But Michael Piercy is here and I'm here. So today there are three of us. Sometimes there are only two. And we do a 3-hour live radio broadcast heard throughout the galaxy. And everyone in the galaxy loves it. But NPR, National Panhandler Radio, they have a 3-hour show on the same time or about the same time as us. And they have a staff of 33 people because it's taxpayer funded. And they have their own sushi chef. Would we have a sushi chef? They have strippers and they have all kinds of stuff. We Michael and I are both happily married men. We wouldn't have strippers, but sushi chef, that might be nice. The 33, we'd have a hot tub. I'll tell you that. We could do from the hot tub. You'd hear bubbling, and we'd be drinking champagne, have chefs bringing us sushi, and we'd start with breakfast and then move on to the sushi cocktails because the Democrats. How would it change if we had 33 people? That's unimaginable. I would have no idea what to do. Maybe the pilot and the co-pilot of our Gulfstream jet, if we had NPR money, and our personal chefs and people to come in and maybe a back massage during the show, things like that. Truthfully, RB, I would have no idea what to do with all those people. I don't think they do either. If you ever heard one of those shows, that seems evident. All right, I just mentioned James Carville, and that's our mailbag. Thank you for our mailbag. Thank you for the wonderful stuff from our wonderful listeners who are great Americans and normal people. Remember normal, because, honestly, the plumber's wife and Fleetus and David Mark and Arby, thank you for your mailbag questions today. Wonderful stuff. Now, James Carville, he's talking about the Democrat Party breaking up, mostly because of the violence and the criminality and the shooting people, the attempted assassinations. Oh, I left out all the attempted Trump assassinations. I left out earlier. Michael reminded me. The Iranians sent a man to the United States to assassinate Trump, too. He was arrested and was not allowed to go forward. But that's why Democrats want to do away with law enforcement and immigration enforcement. But James Carville, who is severely mentally ill and has been for years, he thinks it's time for the Democrat Party to break up into different violent camps.
So maybe we need to have a schism. Maybe you got plenty different, the Justice Party, the Working Families Party, the Socialist Party. So maybe we could
all Democrats
have a kind of amicable split here.
Amicable, not amicable.
And we'll go to post in 2026.
2026. We'll go to post in 2026. And what does that even mean? It's time for them, the socialists and the communists and the firebombers and the rapists and, the Democrat Party. Aren't they amazing? So I think Carville is right. The Democrat Party should break up. It should be dissolved. You have the Confederate Party. They're all racist, so they can all be in the racist party. Have been all along. They could have the Molotov Party, named after the Soviet Russian who gifted the world the Molotov cocktail, since Democrats are so fond of it now, attacking the homes of Jewish politicians, elected statewide leaders, because Democrats. That's Lola. That's Lola because this is one of the Democrat Party theme songs that we've used on the radio show. It's a mixed-up world. She's a mixed-up girl. That was Lola. Boys will be girls and girls will be boys. That's the Democrat Party. Oh, and Maine, the governor there, wants boys to compete as girls, and now the Justice Department is coming after her. Should send men with nets to gather her up and send her out for mental treatment, observation. Today is National Wear Your Pajamas to Work Day. The day after tax day, because you're up all night trying to get your taxes in order. So they have declared today, the 16th, to be National Wear Your Pajamas to Work Day. And Joe Biden, I think, he's every day is wear your pajamas to work with Joe Biden. And we were talking about this morning, I think Volodymyr Zelensky also wears his pajamas to work every day as well. Now let's go to the Marjorie Taylor Greene, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, had a town hall meeting yesterday, and she had lefties show up that were such mental cases that the police had to come in and drag them out. Two of them had to be hit with tasers and knocked out and dragged out of there because, and you may remember that it was Jasmine Crockett, who is a low-rent street congresswoman, and she referred to Marjorie Taylor Greene, congresswoman, as butch body something.
Somebody's bleach blonde, bad-built butch body.
That's Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. I think she wants to date her or something. But there was a heckler there at Marjorie Taylor Greene's town hall meeting last night who was apparently familiar with the Jasmine Crockett slur.
Ladies and gentlemen, they're all inside the interior of the United States.
How about the KKK?
All inside the interior of the United States. You can head out. The protest is outside. Thank you very much. Protest is outside.
You butch body
protest
bigot.
Is outside. Bye. Have fun out there.
She's talking about all the illegals inside the United States because the Democrats and said, well, the KKK is a terrorist group. Yeah, and it was founded by the Democrat Party and a statewide leader of the Democrat Party named Nathan Bedford Forrest. And then hecklers at the town hall. Getting tased. Those are the tasers. The police. And people are saying, hey, hit him with more tasers.
Stop. This is a peaceful town hall.
Well, not anymore because Democrats showed up and they're violent criminals. They're not on the side of civilization at all. The Democrat Party. So those booms that sounded like gunshots, those were tasers hitting protesters who were then dragged out while dribbling down their chins. The Democrat Party is a violent organization. It's a mental organization. It's a violent mental organization. Amazing, amazing stuff. We've run out of time again. I'll be back tomorrow.